my name is Brooke, and the password for my speech is kitten, and this is the audience that I have of 5 people. That's Amanda, that's Taylor, that's Jess, Jalen, and David. And what I'm going to talk about today is that if you were given the chance to save millions of lives, would you? This is something Americans face every single day regarding kill shelters. As stated by Do Something, nearly 2.7 million dogs and cats are killed every year because shelters are just too full. Every year, this statistic grows because so many more cats and dogs are brought into the shelters. However, this statistic can be changed. This can happen by donating, adopting, and listening to the silent cries of millions of animals, because so many innocent lives could be saved every single day. Along the lines of cognitive dissonance, the amount of injustice that dogs and cats face at kill shelters is inhumane. As stated earlier by Do Something, nearly 2.7 million cats and dogs are killed every single year because there's no room in these kill shelters. Homeless animals actually outnumber homeless people 5 to 1. Now just imagine the amount of homeless people you may see going into DC, and then imagining the amount of animals that are outnumbering the amount of those people. It's insane and inhumane the amount of injustice that these animals are facing today. In regards to dogs, 1 out of 10 of them will only find a permanent home. Therefore, 9 of them will be killed in these kill shelters. Every year, the Humane Society makes a list of 100 kill shelters that have an enormous amount of animals that die every single year. According to Listener's Need, Abraham Maslow, humans need a physiological to satisfy their life. So having that physiological need is basically to know that you have a home. However, after stating the things for cognitive dissonance, you can see that barely any animals a year are able to find a home. 2.7 million are actually dying. 70 million cats are dying every single year because of these shelters. So because of this, you can see that cats and dogs do not even get the physiological needs that us as humans have just by having a home. The canine brains actually need to have the amount of love and care as much as people do. In fact, by having that, they're able to have a better life and a better understanding of what it is to be loved. Us as people want the social needs of having someone liking them. However, imagine having the needs of just needing to get a home. Most of these animals are going to die in the shelter because of the fact that they can't have these basic needs that us as people need to survive every single day. Positive motivation to get rid of these kill shelters. There are multiple positive motivations to get this over with. So if you were just to adopt and not shop, that would actually help millions and millions of animals. By adopting from the non-kill shelters, you're helping, but also from adopting from the kill shelters, you're helping an animal live another day. However, even though that these kill shelters are killing these animals, non-kill shelters are able to bring in more people and attract more people to come to their shelter because they know these animals have had a better life for the past few days they've been in that shelter. So by being in a shelter that is non-kill, animals are being able to have the better care and love that people working there are able to bring to them. Also, people are able to work in a better environment knowing that these animals are going to be here the next day instead of being put down because of overcrowding. Overcrowding leads to many of these animals' deaths and many more animals coming in. However, there's only so much space for these animals to stay, and by having these kill shelters, many people don't really care about these animals' lives because they know they're just going to die. However, if we do have these non-kill shelters, many animals, cats, dogs, and other reptiles will be able to live so much longer because people will value the lives of all these animals. Non-kill shelters also get a lot more support from the people in the community, and this is because of what I stated earlier on how kill shelters don't have many people come into them and that they don't have the right people going to them. I'm not saying that anyone who gets an animal from a kill shelter is a terrible person. However, by having to go to a kill shelter, you're going to think about, oh, well, if I just bring this dog back, then there's going to be a new one the next day because that dog's going to be gone. But by having these non-kill shelters, many of these dogs will be not taken for granted and have much, much, much more of a better life. Negative motivation for people to not support kill shelters are that basically the same things for the positive. Even though it sounds weird, you don't fear that guilt and depressing feeling when looking at a new pet. You also get the same attraction as you would if it was a kill shelter. So basically, the standards are like millions and millions and millions of cats and dogs will die because they're abused. However, if they're not abused and they just are brought to this kill shelter, then many people will see that as a better animal. But the negative motivation by this is that the abuse of other animals may make you want to help out that animal who's abused. I don't think anyone likes anyone getting abused, whether it's people, animals, or even sea creatures. Any type of living being should not be abused in any certain type of way, and that's a negative motivation for you to want to go and help out, even if you don't know anything about these kill shelters or non-kill shelters. In conclusion, the amount of lives that are taken away from innocent animals is inhumane. Whether you care for animals, don't care for animals, simply don't know anything about these shelters, help make a difference. A small donation could save one life. Adopting and not shopping for particular pets could give one of the smallest amounts of hope to a tiny little chance at life for any single animal inside that shelter. So, if an animal were to look you in the face and in the eyes, would you respond, or would you walk away? Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed this speech.